Hi everyone, welcome to VPSS Science Tier 1. This is session 14. What I'd like to quickly do is review the checklist in terms of what you will be submitting and what the due dates are, and ensure that this makes sense to you before we even get started. What this document tells you is what session or information, what you need to view in order to gather the content information that will allow you to be successful in this particular session, what you need to do in terms of assignments, discussions, pre and post tests, and when those are due by, those due dates. So let's take a quick look. You'll notice for the welcome, basically it's all viewing. It's trying to support you in terms of how you make your way through this class, what the content overview is, what the grading policy is, rubrics in terms of assignments and discussions, and this is to help you know what is it that's being looked for. But let's go to session 1. Session 1 is essentially astronomy. It doesn't say that here, but you'll find on the page that it does. All of this information is included on the pages within Haiku. The purpose of this document is to ensure, again, that you know what specific assignments are due and when they're due. You're going to see a repeating pattern. So here's what you view. This is all on the Haiku page. Here are the assignments or tests, assessments that are due, and the discussion posts and the dates. So let's just take this one as an example. We have an initial discussion post on session 1. This will not be here on subsequent sessions, but this is the Introduce Yourself discussion post. Here's the pretest 1. A mention about pretests. The pretests and post-tests, you'll see the post-test right down here, for session 1 are critical. They allow you to see what you've been able to advance with in terms of your content information, and also provides you information and examples of potential assessment questions. We'll go over the pretest and post-test specifically, but please know it is not your specific grade of how many you got correct. What we record is whether or not you have completed the pretest or post-test. It is critical, however, that if you do the pretest, which is required, that you do it before you study the content information. So what we find from time to time is people skip the pretest and the post-test and then do it weeks later, which quite frankly makes it much less meaningful, both to you and to our program. This helps us to understand, in addition, how are we supporting you in developing your understanding of this information. So the pretest is critical. You have 2 tries. Again, whether you get a 20%, a 40%, an 80%, or 100% is not what's critical. It's that you complete it, that you've reviewed the information by the due date. Here are the assignments for this session. There is an initial discussion board post. All of these items that you see here are due on a Sunday. I believe that's always true. And what you'll find is that they tie to the part that you're studying. So for example, Part A, the assignment that matches, is listed as A here. Part B, galaxies. Part B, parallax activity assignment. So you're going to see that these letters correspond with the session that you're studying. You will also find that on the pages that describe it. When we get down here, we have the post-test. Once again, it's critical that you complete this in a timely fashion. It becomes far less meaningful if it's not. Here also, you have initial discussion post, and you'll find this again on the pages, a clear description of the discussion prompt. It is due Sunday, September 28th. This is where you respond to 2 peers. Again, doing this days and weeks later means that your peers are not going to go back and read it. So it's only worthwhile if it's completed in this time frame. Otherwise, you're posting, you're thinking, you're reflecting, which is terrific for you. It doesn't, however, support your peers. And part of that is what we want to do. We want to bring you resources. You'll find that there's the same pattern throughout. We go down to session 3. Let me show you what this 1 week means. After you go through session 3, everything will be graded in a very timely fashion. You're going to find that you get responses exceptionally quickly. What you will notice, though, is on occasion you will have an assignment returned because there's something that you need to revisit. Now, if it is a response to a question that is not considered absolutely critical, you may or may not be asked to revisit it, because you don't need to earn 100% on every assignment. However, if there is a question or portion of an assignment or activity that is incorrect that you've submitted, and it is critical to displaying your understanding of a particular content area, then you will be asked to revisit it. What you will find, and you'll find this in the grading, is you will receive a 1 if something is complete, and you'll receive full credit for that. You'll receive an R if there's something you need to resubmit. Within Haiku, you will find a clear and complete message about what it is you're being asked to revisit. Whether it's a particular question, a particular section. As with science, data may not always come out as we hope that it does. Only if it's critical to your understanding will we ask you to revisit it. This particular week, which is Monday, October 13th through Sunday, October 19th, this is called a catch-up week or a move forward week. However, please note, all work, which is any submissions graded with an R, must be completed for sessions 1, 2, and 3 within this week time. So as happens with our own students, as happens in life, if you wait until the very last week to resubmit things from sessions 1, 2, and 3, there will not be time to evaluate it. So what this is saying is for sessions 1, 2, and 3, it will be critical for you to return and ensure that every single thing is complete and has the number 1 next to it. If it has a 1 next to it, it's full credit. If it has an R next to it, it's no credit. So that's what this is trying to say to you. We then move forward with sessions 4, 5, and 6, which will then complete the course. I'd like to point out 1 or 2 more things to you. Notice that these are not all of equal length. Now, it doesn't mean that one doesn't take you a little bit more time. But notice, for example, here are the assignments. They may or may not be of any specific length for session 1. Let's now look at session, for example, 5. Session 5 has more assignments to it. Part of that is chunking it up into smaller pieces. Part of that is because there's quite a bit of content associated with this topic. So as you go forward, know that each session is not of equal length, and so plan accordingly. If you know that there's going to be a particular week that's tough for you because you have grading in your classroom, they will be open somewhat early, and you're more than welcome to work ahead. All 6 sessions will not be open because what we find is you may be submitting something on session 6, and yet I'm not reviewing it because I'm reviewing the entire class for session 3, and therefore you don't get feedback in a timely fashion, and that then can become frustrating for you. We'll talk more about other things, but that's the basic overview of the schedule. Thank you.